Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, we will be studying the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And as usual, we will begin with this mantra. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam Srimadapatam bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Friends, the last Wednesday we were discussing the qualities of holy person. In answering to a question, what is the way for worldly people, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, holy company. And also mentioned one needs sadhana. We found in the Bhagavata the qualities a person must have to be considered as a holy person. We studied that in our previous discussion at the last Wednesday. And about the sadhana, we find that in the Bhagavad-Gita is a wonderfully explained the three types of sadhana, kaika, bachika, manasika sadhana. So let us know what are these three types of sadhanas. Then we will continue and we will be reading from the English book, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the 781, page number 781. And the Bengali Akhanda Sanskaran, that is 836. Now the Bhagavad-Gita Chapter 17, 14, 15 and 16, these three mantras, these verses, it says, Dveva, Dvija, Guru, Pragya, Pujanam, Shauchamarjavam, Brahmacharya, Ahimsacha, Shariram tapa uchyate. There are three types of sadhana. One is physical sadhana, and second is through the talk, bachika, through the tongue, and finally manasika, through thought, mentally. So whatever the work we do, we think that physically whenever we are doing that is the work. No. Whatever the words, the sentences that we are using, that is also work. And sometimes we use very harsh words, and that creates the bad karma for us. Otherwise, we are very good people, doing always careful, not harming physically, but through words we are going on criticizing people, telling lies about people, and without knowing harming so many people just through words or maybe through thought. That is also very bad. So what are the tapasya? We have to purify these three different type of works. So if we know this, it becomes easy for us, those who are very sincere, those who like to be spiritually uplifted, for them this is very important. So first they have to go to a holy person. But there are so many varieties of people claiming that they are holy people. And it's very difficult to understand who is a holy person, who is not. So the Bhagavata, it gave the whole list. At least few qualities we must find in those people who are propagated, maybe directly by themselves or some people supporting them, that they are holy people. Those qualities, in our last class we have discussed that. There's a big list from the Bhagavata. These are the qualities one must have. Now the tapasya, the spiritual austerity. Now whenever we think about the spiritual austerity, we think that we should not eat this, we should not drink that, We should not wear this type of dress, we should not wear the shoe, all this. But physical austerity, what is the physical austerity? It says, Deva, Bija, Guru, Pragya, Pujanam. Deva means God. Dvija, holy people. Guru, the teacher. Pragya, wise. Pujanam. We must have to give respect, proper respect to these people. So God, in the early morning when you get up, or whenever we are getting up first, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, in so many times, he himself used to practice that. The first you get up and see at least a photo of God, whatever the God that you like, God or goddess, whatever you like, at least first you see and then bow down and pray, God, you have given me this day, please see that I do all good works so that I can realize you. That is the first prayer. You begin the day by looking at the photo of God and then through the prayer. Bija, the holy people. The second birth, they say. Divija, ja means birth, dvi means second birth. Who was the second birth? Usually, the human being, the first time they are born, and second time, that means they are developed to that culture. They have practiced the restraint, they have practiced all how to control the emotions, how to control the senses. So that is the way, that's called Dvija. They take some oaths, promises. So that is called Dvija, second birth. Birth, everyone same. That there is a beautiful sloka, at the birth, each and every one are the same. Janmanat jayate Shudra. Shudra means a lower culture. They don't know how to behave properly. They are not very, no aesthetic sense. And also the cleanliness is not there. That culture should be there. So that is called Janmanath Jayate Shudra. If you look at the human children even, they have just started quarreling and they will be going and beating the ants or putting the whatever they find, because the children, they always understand the external world through the taste. So everything they will put in the mouth. So that is the way they understand and their expression. So the mothers and the aunties, they will go and all the time telling, oh my son, you should not do like this, you should not behave like this, you are a human being, you should behave like this. Then slowly, Janmanath Jayate Shudra. Shudra is not that caste, but the culture. And then slowly, through the culture, they become the second birth, the Dvija. Samaskarat Dija Uchyate. What is the Samaskara? This type of training. Even you like to eat, you should not. You should restrain yourself. You should take the permission. You should not do this, you should not do that. The kittens, the puppies, you cannot control them. Through instinct only they behave. But the human child, when they are trained, so they will be. So that's why the human has to go to the school. The kittens and the puppies do not go to school to become a puppy or a kitten. Just natural way they behave. They grow up. A little bit of training is given by the masters, so that is different. But the human child has to go to the school, and they are learning, slowly manifesting. The Janmanath Jayate Shudra, Samaskara Dija Uchyate, Vedadhyashi Bhavet Vipra. The Vipra means is a knowledgeable one. Then they study and they learn so many things. And they are a knowledgeable person. That is called Vipra. Brahmajanati Brahmana. Who is a Brahmana? Brahmana is one who has realized the truth. It is the one that is pervading everything. So this is the way that Dvija doesn't mean just taking a, in Hinduism, those who are Brahmin and Kshatriyas, they have the tradition of having the sacred trait. That is a ceremony they take, and then they take some oaths. The samaskara, the dveva means the God. And who is God? Love and unselfishness. That is the God. Love and unselfishness. God doesn't mean the having four hands or flowing in the air or walking on the water. It may be any power they are having, but the main thing is full of love and unselfishness. Dvija, then Guru, the teacher. Who is the Guru? Shankaracharya. In his Vivekananda, he dedicates so many verses to explain the Guru. And he says he himself has crossed the ocean of this samsara and this temporariness. Then he knows the Brahman, the eternal existence, the knowledge, the source of joy. He knows that. And then he gives that knowledge to others, and in exchange expect nothing, not even the respect. So, Basantavat Lokahitam Charanta in the Vivek Chudamani, Basantavat, in the spring, all the trees are flowering. And when you are moving, you see the beautiful, the scenery all over. In the Himalayas, there is a valley, miles after miles, all flowers, wild flowers. It's a beauty. And what is that? For whom? Anyone, whoever will go. The only this country people or that religious, no, nothing like that. Basantavat. That's why in the nature is not discriminating. No discrimination in the nature. It gives it to everyone. Basantavat lokohitam charanta. Why do they do that? Only for the betterment of the people. So that is called the Guru. And the pragya is the wise. The wise means not that all the time they should have the knowledge. They are having the knowledge, but experience. When a person is fully experienced, seeing something he can understand, oh, this going to be this. Because they have experience, they have seen in their lives. That's called pragya. The dveva, godly, dvija, those who are culturally very advanced, guru, the teacher, and pragya, very wise people, one must worship them. Pujanam. Pujanam means not only respect, is worshipping. So I become humble before them. A person should become humble before them. And then that is called worshipping. The respect, okay, I am not disturbing them. That is maybe the respect. But the pujana means very humble way you have to serve them. Deva, Dija, Guru, Pragya, Pujanam. Then comes Shaucham and Arjabam, the cleanliness and uprightness. The cleanliness is next to godliness. In English they always say the cleanliness is very, very essential. To become spiritual, one must be very clean. Sometimes some people, I don't know, particularly some of the people that are coming, the dress that they were wearing at the night for sleep, with that dress only somehow they wash their face and then come to the shrine. And they are talking, they are mixing. It is very bad. One must be proper. No, what is there? I am clean. Not like that. One should be the proper dress you should wear and then come. Where you are going, that way, the proper way you should be. When you are going for a sunbath or going for a swimming, that is the dress you can wear. But the same type of dress you cannot wear when you are going to a party or especially when you are coming to a holy place. So that is also called the shaucham, cleanliness. Not only that bathing and using the soap and the perfume, not that. All at the same time, in a cultured way, in a proper manner, one should. An arjavam, upright. Whatever he is thinking or saying in a very polite, gentle way, but the truth. Brahmacharyam ahimsa cha. What is the Brahmacharya? Concentration. Whatever I am doing, whatever the work I am performing, I should do it in a full mind. So somehow I am just finishing and going, no. When I am sitting, I draw the chair and sat, and when I am leaving, I must keep the chair back where it was. Sometimes some people, they will be picking up a pen from the table. They have come to visit an office or officer, use the pen and put the pen in the pocket and go. Or using they are removing their shoes, particularly in the Hindu temple, they will be removing the shoes anywhere, and no. So that is called Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, of course, continence. But at the same time, the mind should be alert. What I am doing. Very few people, after sitting on the chair, they keep back the chair in a proper manner. They will be simply leave that and go away. Somebody else has to do that. But why? The alertness. If you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji, Mother, they are so alert for each and everything. Brahmacharya, alertness, apramatya. I am not taking. So whatever I am doing, whatever I am listening, whatever I am performing, very alert. Ahimsa cha, non-violence. Non-violence means I am not angry with anyone. And that is called non-violence. Doesn't mean that I am not killing, but the thing is that I am not angry with anyone. That non-violence, that we should have to practice. Shariram tapa uchyate, friends, that is called the austerity of the body. When physically we are practicing spiritual austerities, these are the things we should practice. Mostly physical austerity, we think not eating, keeping the fast, that is good if you can. But these are the things, and who said? Lord Sri Krishna himself. In the Bhagavad-Gita, 17th chapter, 14th verse. And the next verse, 15th, what he says? Anudbega karam bhakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. And then swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva chaiva bangmayat tapa uchyate. That is also controlling the tongue. That is also very important. Some of the scholars, they explain why the mother Kali is biting her own tongue. There's a story that she, just by mistake, touched the body of her own husband, the Lord Shiva. Out of shy, she is showing that. Sometimes the Indian ladies, they do like that. And I didn't notice the others, so I am mentioning about the Indian ladies. So just biting the tongue to show, and they are shy and they are sorry. No. This is controlling the tongue. The mother of the universe, the goddess Kali, the mother of the universe. And she is teaching us, controlling the tongue. That means you should not use any abusive language against anyone. You should not use the words in such a way that people, they lose their confidence. One should not. Sometimes the teachers, unknowingly or knowingly, they'll be hurting, damaging the self-respect and the self-confidence of the students. Very bad. Parents, by mistake, they do. Oh, you cannot do anything, you are worthless, you are this, you are that. The other day, I was listening a Hindi discourse, a lady, she is very popular, very sweetly, she was telling that someone met another person, and then that was in a meeting, all people were there. Suddenly, the second one told the first one, "Hey, it's so nice that you are here. You were a failure every time for all these years. Now it is good that you have got a job." So see how I felt sometimes some people they use that second person. He was welcoming the first one, but when he was introducing him with the others, he mentioned that he was a failure in many places. Somehow he has got a job. Oh, I welcome you. You got a job, though you were a failure many times before. It was not necessary to tell that. But why do they do that? Because they don't have control over the tongue, and they have the jealousy, the anger, and they are sahimsa. Maybe they are eating the vegetarian food, but they are actually non-veg people. They are himastra. Himastra means they are not a very violent type of people in the thought, in the words they are using. So, anudvega karam bhakyam, not using offensive words against anyone. And one must practice to tell the truth, satyam. And what type of truth? Priyam, that must be pleasant and beneficial. The most of the time when the people they are reporting, particularly the reporters, when they are reporting, they must be truthful. What has happened? Because the people, they should know the truth. But when they are reporting in such a way, the headline will on the newspaper in such a way, the people most of the time they are carried away by the headlines of the newspaper. They don't go through the whole details. Just in the and what they are doing, oh, we have to sell the paper so popular way. This is not popular way. It is a sin. It is a sin that they are doing. All people are depending on them. They are bringing the news, then giving it to the all people. Nowadays in the TV, in the radio and the print media, one must be very, very careful. Satya, the truth must be, and very pleasant way it must be presented. If you are interested in developing spiritual life, and if you want to practice the austerity, that is called in the Bhagavad-Gita 17:15, anudvega karam bhakyam, then the truth must be presented. Anything that you say must be the truth. Sometimes when we are describing, we describe giving our own views also in that. And that creates the confusion for the person who is listening. Maybe he is the boss. He has to get the information from you and then take action. And if you, who is carrying the message, do not tell in a proper manner exactly what you have seen and heard, then unfortunately you will get the bad result of the work. So hitanchaja, then swadhyaya. How it is possible to control the mind? Constantly, every day, at least 1 or 2 pages, one should read the holy books. What are the holy books? Not that someone is very intelligent and published something and very popular. Not that type of book. Those who have really, really realized God, their words only. That is called swadhyaya, abhyasanam. And that swadhyaya abhyasan, that means the spiritual study regularly, a few pages, one must at least listen and read. Bhangmaya tapa uchate, that is the austerity of the tongue. Then the third one, manaprasada saumyattam, maunam atma vinigraha, bhava samsuddhi iti etat, tapo manasam uchate. Now, if we practice these 3 types of spiritual austerities, then we ourselves will become full of joy and steady, satisfied spiritual person. Mana prasada, serenity of the mind. When I know that I am not harming anyone, disturbing anyone, doing any wrong thing to anyone, and whatever is possible for me, I am performing, and your mind is completely tranquil. Not constantly. Most of the people, we are afraid. You know why? Because the comments of the others. Of course, in the society, that is a great thing. They call it gradation. They will be giving the grades. The students are giving the grades for the teachers. Teachers may be very good, and they are very steady and teaching properly. But the students, they think, oh, this man is not allowing us to practice the wrong things. So we will, in the gradation time, we will give wrong gradation. That is their karma phala, bad karma phala. But the teacher should go on in his own way. And one thing, that is the faith in the existence of God. When one is going on in his own way without harming anyone, then surely the God will protect him or her. That is sure. The manaprasada, how the mind should be calm and composed. I have not done anything wrong. So by that way, the serenity of the mind. Somyatam, gentleness. The gentleness, the courtesy, and that is the great thing. As a human, that is the great thing. So when you are gentle, what do? You know how bad words, but you don't use that. Maybe you are strong, you can fight with others, but you don't do that. Maybe you know that person, that he cheated you. Even then, when he is coming again and begging for some help, then okay, take it. By that way, it's called somyat, the gentleness, courteous. And monam, silence. Why? Because he knows that how much I can do or I should speak that way. And then afterwards they will be quiet only because they are contented. You know, some people can't contain, so they go on talking. Nobody wants to listen, but they will go on talking. Friends, we are discussing the spiritual practices. The spiritual practice doesn't mean that the bare body, we have to be in the cold or without food or matted hair or these or that. Those who like, they can. But these are the special practices that purify our all mind and the senses. Atma binigraha. My eyes like to go and see the bad things. My ear like to hear all the wrong things, because that is in the nature, like to drag me down to the world, the physical level. But I should not allow my senses to go down. So always, that is called that there are two brothers, Sura, Asura, from the same parentage, from same father. The Sura are the very good type of people. Asura, means negative, bad people. Sura, that is expression, illumination, knowledge, and exactly opposite Asura. So they always draw the Suras, they are all fair color, and Asura is a dark color. So that is the way. It has nothing to do with the physical color, that is because of the nature. So it is intellectually they have mentioned in this way. Sura means enlightened one. So that is lighted one. That is why the fair color and the opposite. So Sura, Asura, Atma binigraha. My mind, my senses, Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jiva, Tok, and this, they all, the five, they like to go and enjoy this physical thing and restrain. No, I am not going to do that. Then Bhava Samsuddhi, purity of heart. That is very, very important. What is the purity of the heart? I am thinking something and telling something else, behaving in a different way. No, one should not do that. Maybe sometimes the politicians, maybe business and all, They may do that. But in the spiritual path, friends, I'm talking about the spiritual path. So that in the spirituality, when someone is trying to develop the spirituality, they must be following this. Heart should be purified. It's not the food. It's not any other thing, but your thought. That is called iti etat tapo manasamuchyate. So this is how we have to practice the mental austerity. Now, the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that you have to go to a holy person and have his company. The last Wednesday we discussed that. Also he said that you have to do some sadhana. One needs sadhana. Now the sadhana, this Sanskrit word, the people, they know about it. Sadhana, if we translate into English, the spiritual practice, spiritual austerity. This sadhana means these three. What are the three? Kaika, physical, Vachika, through the word, and Manasika, through thought. So not only Kaika. So these three, if we can practice. Now, again, we find over here Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna talking with his devotees. He is saying Samadhayi remarked that God was dry. Samadhayi was one of the leaders of that is Brahma Samaj. The Brahma Samaj is they were the intellectual people, educated people. They wanted to save the Hinduism, but again they were adjusting how to make it modern, etc. by that way. But sadhana is necessary. Spiritual realization is necessary to make people follow a path that will lead them to God realization. Particularly leaders, those who are introducing that path, must get the spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, who is going to accept their words? The intellectual words only. Sometimes the philosophers, sometimes the great poets, sometimes other people also, they give wonderful advice. But that doesn't carry anything. The people will be quoting them, but they don't follow them. Why? Because it was not added with the practice. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling the Samadhayi remarked that God was dry. And look at it. And in the Upanishad it says that is the source of joy, Ananda. Anandeva khalu imani bhutani jayante. That God is the source of the joy. And this Samadhayi, one of the leaders of their practice, the Brahma Samaji, he said that God is dry and we have to make through our own love the soft, the wrong thing. That means he has not. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna giving a very wonderful the way he is thinking. It sounds like the remark, my uncle's cowshed is full of horses. The person doesn't know what is the cowshed and where the horses are, the stable and all that. They doesn't know. So he is telling my uncle's cowshed is full of horses. It is like that. By this he meant that if you are not realized soul, you sometimes tell wrong things about God. Yes, a worldly person is the state of intoxication. He always says to himself, it is I who am doing everything. All these, the house, the family, are mine. And he will be going on telling, what will happen to my wife? What will happen to my children if I am not there? So before him this world was there. After him the world will also continue. Just because his ego, he is thinking, oh, if I am not there, then what will happen to this world? So Master now, they were talking about the Rakhal Maharaj, and afterwards Swami Brahmananda. He was a very favorite the disciple of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So he got married, though he never wanted, but the parents. Then afterwards, what happened? He remarked, then what will happen if I am not there to my wife? Of course, because you are taking a responsibility, so you have to be thinking in that way too. Sri Ramakrishna knew it, and Sri Ramakrishna knew how to handle this. The Rakhal Maharaj, particularly, who afterwards became very famous as Swami Brahmananda, the first president of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission, so he was a spiritual giant. Sri Ramakrishna knew it. But apparently, he is showing like that. Why? Because even that type of people apparently married and apparently entangled, but internally they were completely free. So Sri Ramakrishna, as being a God, he knew it. Others were not. So Haramahan, did Rakhal say that? His relative, so he was trying to. What else could he do? This Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned. He who has knowledge has ignorance. How amazing! Now he is immediately taking the mind to another level. Lakshmana said to Rama, even a sage like Vasishtha is stricken with the grief because of the death of his sons. The Guru Vasishtha, very famous, he was a Brahmarshi, he was the knower of Brahman. As because he was a rishi in those days, there was no conception of the sannyasi as now. Now the Dasamanami Sampradaya, the 10 different categories of the sannyasins that Shankaracharya introduced much afterwards. A series of lecture that is going on in our Home of Harmony. There, that lecture is the organization of gods. The first part we introduced, and second part will be discussing on this. So this is the way we have to understand. So it goes beyond the both knowledge and ignorance. It's the knowledge and ignorance. You have to go beyond that. The Lakshmana, when he mentioned that the Vasishtha is also the suffering because of the death of his son. Vasishtha was a Brahmagyani. He knew very well there cannot be the son or the daughter or the wife or the father or the mother, because that is all the imaginations. The Vasishtha was Advaita Jnani. But even then, when you are having the human body, those emotions, those attachments are very natural. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, quoting the conversation between Sri Lakshmana and Sri Rama, he mentioned, brother, Rama is telling. Replied Rama, he who has knowledge has ignorance also. Therefore go beyond both knowledge and ignorance. The knowledge means there is only one. The moment you are having that conception, what happens? Opposite is also there, obviously. And he continues, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna continues, suppose a thorn has pierced a man's foot. He picks another thorn to pull out the first one. We have seen in the villages, where is health center and all that? In a very advanced country or anything that happens immediately, you go to the hospital, and there are so many hospitals are there, health centers are there, arrangements are there. In villages in the third world, where is all this? So people, they help themselves and they know very practical way that when a thorn is pierced, immediately they will take another thorn to take it out. Sri Ramakrishna, he is from the village background and he has seen it and he is explaining in that way, using that. Suppose a thorn has pierced a man's foot, he picks another thorn to pull out the first one. After extracting the first thorn, with the help of the second one, he throws both away. One should use the thorn of knowledge to pull out the thorn of ignorance. Thorn of knowledge about the knowledge of God. So then you can take out the knowledge of this world. That there are two things, God and this world. God is the creator and world is created things. God is the existence and the world is the temporary. So these are the way we take the God's conception and slowly we give away the worldly things because it is temporary, it is created. Anything that is created going to be destroyed someday. Then we go to the God. But then we have to go beyond that God also. Why? Because God is also temporary from the viewpoint of the pure Advaita. The Supreme Lord, He as if creates another image, and that with three qualities, Sattva, Raja, Tama. And that's called Ishvara. And the Ishvara is creating. So the Hiranyagarbha and all this. So this is the way we have to understand. One should use the thorn of knowledge to pull out the thorn of ignorance. Then one throws away both the thorns, knowledge and ignorance, and attain Vidyamaya. The Vidyamaya, the word Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used in many places, and he always insisted that one should be a Vidyani. Jnani, Vidyani. So three stages. Ajnani. A means negative. He doesn't know. Or the false knowledge. Whatever he knows as a wrong. Why? Because they're all temporary. That means the worldly knowledge. The science and these and that. Temporary knowledge, constantly changing. In the science you see every time someone is discovering or inventing something, and then after a few days another one comes. Oh no, that was another thing, another theory comes. It goes on. But in the spiritual, there's only one discovery that they had thousands of years before. That was the Brahman, all-pervading consciousness, which they consider is a source of creation. And how it was created, there different views are there. Sometimes they say the creation is permanent, and sometimes they say no. The creation is temporary because it's only we create, we think as we create in our dream. But that is a different discussion. This is the way when we think, the ignorance and the knowledge. So we have to go beyond that. Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. And what is Vidyamaya? He himself is asking and giving the reply. It is to know God distinctly by realizing His existence through an intuitive experience. Through an intuitive experience. But not only conception. When we read the scripture, we develop a conception about God. And then in the Upanishads and many other places, particularly in the Purana, they give the description of God. And we think that this is God. But it is beyond that. We have to go beyond that. Any quality, anything that you can conceive, we can conceive, we can have the idea limited. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satchid Ananda Sarupa Brahma. Om Iti Brahma. And different way they are trying to give idea of the truth. But only that much? No, it is beyond that. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, as because he was that supreme God. That is why he could say it in this way. He said that beyond that you have to go, and then you cannot express anything. Because you are that. How can you express that? You are that. You become that. So he is mentioning here that you have to have the Vidyamaya. And what is that Vidyamaya? Knowing God, intuitive experience, becoming God, and to speak to Him intimately. Then you are that. So you know everything through and through. Then you know this is the Vidyamaya. And he gave example in many other places. that some people have heard the name, the word milk, but they have not seen what is that milk. They don't have any idea. They read, oh, milk is a liquid white thing, and if you drink, it is having this material in it, and that will help you to digest and the strong body, etc., etc. But only they heard the read. Some people have seen that. There's a second grade. But the best people, they not only heard, they not only saw, they really utilized the milk, drank it, and not only tasted, they were benefited by drinking the pure milk. So this is called Vidyana. Those who have drank and got the benefit, now they themselves know what is that milk, through and through. That is the way Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. That is why Sri Krishna said to Arjuna, go beyond the three gunas. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and he is mentioning even the Vedas, the source of Hinduism, that is the greatness of Hinduism, never narrow. Even the Vedas, on the basis of which the whole Hindu structure is there, the edifice of the Hinduism based on the Veda, Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunna Bhavarjuna. Our God, Sri Krishna, he is mentioning, O Arjuna, even these Vedas, they belong within the three qualities, Sattva, Raja, Tama, Trigunna Vishaya Veda. Vishaya means an object. Even that knowledge is also temporary. And you have to go beyond it. That is Hinduism. Sometimes even the Hindus, they are confused, they don't understand. So if something happened, oh, why they have taken the one page of our Veda? They don't know what is Veda, but still they will go and fight with others. They're all very just ordinary people. They don't know anything about the true philosophy. The true philosophy is this. Trigunna Vishaya Veda. What are the three qualities? With the three qualities only all this creation, Sattva, Raja, Tama. Very good, very bad, a mixture of good and bad, Raja. So Sattva, good, Tama, bad, mixture is the Raja. These three qualities are there even in the Veda. So you have to imbibe that, understand that, and go beyond that and become that truth. Again and again, that is the last, the blessings that the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave to the human society. I bless that you all become aware about your consciousness. So what is this Brahman? It is pure consciousness. And when it comes with the contact of the three gunas, it starts creating. So that is the way he is mentioning. In order to attain Vidyana, one has to accept the help of the Vidyamaya. There is a wonderful word Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is using. Maya, we are aware of this word. Shankaracharya used this word. And what is this Maya? Shankara, in his that book, the Vivekananda, he mentioned that it is impossible to explain. Samna, Ubhayatmikana, etc. It may be, for some people it is there, for some people it is not there, and actually it is not there and also it is there, both. So these are the way he tried to say, because when the people are imagining this world is truth, for them it is truth. That those who have understood that this world is temporary, the rishis, the great sages, the holy people, through their lifelong spiritual practices, when they see, they understand, they realize, though apparently everything is so genuine, so much there, but in reality it is not there. It is not there. So Maya, it is very difficult to explain. And because it is, why we see things? Because of the Maya. And what is this Maya? The power of God. The creation that we see, it is the power of God, that is Maya, that is created. Now, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning that you have to utilize here Vidyamaya. He is now here is giving the differences, two types of Maya. One is Vidyamaya, another is Abhidhamaya. In Sanskrit, always if you put A, then it becomes negative. Abhidhamaya. Vidya, avidya. Vidya means the true knowledge, and avidya, a false knowledge. Knowledge, but false knowledge, wrong knowledge, nescience. And what is this Vidyamaya? Maybe that some other day we will discuss. Here the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning Vidyamaya includes discrimination. That is the vichara, the first and basic step to realize God. What is the vichara? That also he explains. That is to say, God is real and the world illusory. God is real. He is using the word God. Because it will be easy for people to understand. If they say Brahman, most of the people don't understand what is this Brahman or the Atman. So he said God. God we know, Ishvara, Bhagavan. So this God is real, he said. But from the point of view that we are understanding God as the real, it is of course real because it is existing as long as the creation is existing. Next time it is. So here it is easy for the people to understand that the God is real, and we are not going deeper into the philosophy where it is again temporary, because after this creation, when the new creation will come, this will go, another will come. It is not necessary. So God is real. And what else? This world is illusory. Why? Every day everything is changing. The sun is changing every day. Our body is changing every day. Our mind is changing every day. So grows the subtle and the huge, the object like the sun, that is also changing, decaying, and that will also die someday. As our body decaying every moment, the doctors, they know very well, every moment it is decaying. So that is why it says that knowledge is a Vidyamaya. It is also Maya. It also binds. But you have to take the help of the Vidyamaya to go beyond. What is the Vidyamaya? He said first, discrimination. The discrimination means vichara. Then God is real, world is illusory. Dispassion. So when we know this world is temporary, why should we use our all energy, time, money for the temporary thing? We should withdraw. Whatever is necessary for a good living, that must sufficient. In every country, 193 countries are there in the world, suppose, and in every 193 countries I must have a huge palace. What is the use of it? I must have this many cars. Some people, when we read in the newspapers, the rich people, they are having a huge garage, so many cars. Do they use it? No. Maybe using for their friends, for their relatives, for these and that. But still they are going on accumulating ignorance. Whatever is necessary for you, for a comfortable, well, we can say luxurious life. Okay. You are earning a lot, live in a luxurious way, but why all this? Sometimes some rich people, they do not know how much property is there. They don't know how much money is there in the bank, property is there, nothing they know, but goes on accumulating. That is called ignorance. And when they die, suddenly they die. What happens to that? Another problem. Who is going to take that? So this is the way when we are discriminating. Discrimination means understanding the truth and taking the right step, taking the right decision. And then comes, after the discrimination, dispassion. Oh, vairagya. Vairagya meva abhayam. I don't need it. And you are free. So no fear. I don't need it. So no question of losing it. So what is the fear? Any object that I am having, the fear I may lose this. So when I am not having that, no question of losing it. So this is the way dispassion. Also chanting names, God's name. Also chanting God's name and glories. Meditation, company of the holy person, prayer. So these are the wonderful spiritual practices and the thoughts that is called Vidyamaya. They are also Maya. They also will bind. But at the same time, this will help you to go beyond the ignorance. Abhidhamaya. What is Abhidhamaya? Me and mine. That is Abhidhamaya. In this world, I is very important. I am. And whatever is associated with me, my family, my relatives, my nation, and my religion, my culture, every that way they are bound. So sometimes jokingly I was telling, that suppose A is in one religion and in one country, B in another religion, another culture in another country, they are always in the loggerhead, they are always fighting, and for that they are doing wrong things. And suppose the A dies by doing wrong things and take birth in the B's country, B doing something good according to the result of the karma, the B comes to the A's country, A goes to the B's country. So what will happen? Next birth, again they will fight. How long? How many times? So this, if we realize, then we can stop. Vidyamaya may be like to the last few steps before the roof. The Vidyamaya means these are the practices, having the company of the holy people, and then discrimination, then dispassion, then prayer, meditation, spiritual practices. That is the last step. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning that is the last step, and then you go on the roof. What is the roof? He said, the realization of God. What is the goal of human life? Realization of God. And how I will know that I am close to God realization? When I am intensely practicing the discrimination, dispassion, having the company of the holy, and praying to the God, taking the holy name of God, meditating in a silently within my heart, I am very close to God. Thank you, friends. This is the way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us, and we must understand. Again I say, those who are sincere, those who are just casually thinking about the religion, for them, no. They can understand, they may not, whatever. Just casually reading what is there in the book, for them it is okay. But those who are truly, sincerely want to realize God, want to go beyond the circle of birth and death, and they have realized that this life is nothing but suffering. Most of the time, all these 9 months we are inside the belly of the mother. Oh, terrible leaving. We can't even the picture that they give, how the baby is shaped. Oh my God! By that way, 9 months, and then from the day 1, day 0, struggle, and everything is changing. That's why Shankaracharya, he said in his Mahamudgar, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Moodhamate. Thank you, friends. And if there is any question?
Maharaj, Rishikesh is asking, do we lose self-confidence by becoming humble? Is humbleness to turn the other cheek, as Lord Christ said?
Humbleness is not losing the self-confidence. Rather, and you gain the self-confidence, you know that. When you are turning your cheek, that is a completely different way the Lord Jesus mentioned. It was to become humble, because at that time, in those people, in that society, the cruelty was so much. So the Lord Jesus has to taught them a little humbleness and little, the lowering down the ego. But the self-confidence means you know that you are God, and you can imagine the great confidence that comes. Thank you. So, friends, so let us complete this with this mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Rama Krishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.